Rolling.
Oh, we knew we were going to have to get that out.
Oh, just kidding. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Welcome into another episode of the Catch the Sky podcast. In this corner, your editor, producer, and host of the show, Sweet Tea. And in the opposing corner, off of a 3-week hiatus, coming in at 4'11", the brassy and sassy Dick Francisco. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hey, T, thanks for the extra inch.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Oh, you always got to give an extra inch. You always got to give an extra inch.
That's what she said.
Hey-oh.
Thanks for the extra inch.
You got to hit something else on the soundboard there. You got to have a drum roll or something for that.
Well,
Where's the laugh track?
I do have the one, but am I allowed to use this?
That's what she said.
Am I allowed to use that?
I don't know. We already used fucking Michael Buffer, so we might as well use Michael Scott
true.
too.
We might as well just double down on all of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into what you've been up to, as always, you may find us on Twitter at I'm Dick Francisco or at CTS Terry, or on Instagram at the Dick Francisco, or by searching for the Catch the Sky podcast. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to hit the like or subscribe button to be notified when we drop our weekly episodes. Dick, welcome back. Thank you for joining us this week.
I think you should have introduced me as Dick the doesn't show up for 3 weeks at a time Francisco, right?
Ayo.
Because so far, been pretty consistent at that. I'd like to say it's not because I've been in Mexico, but yeah.
Jesus Christ. You went to Mexico again?
Yeah, and then I'm going to Mexico again in 2 days. I feel like I'm just going to have to take this show
for the
on
record
road.
books, it is August 17th, 2022.
Yes, it is.
Well, be safe in your travels, as always.
I think I own that place now. That's very American of me, right?
Jesus Christ.
I'm colonizing it.
Fucking A.
I'm saying
we are
it's
the
gonna
new
be
Britain,
so ready
right?
for you when you get here.
Ideally in November.
Yeah. Oh, and that's a great time to go to Mexico.
So we have the most exciting time of the year for some people coming up here.
That's what I hear.
The beginning of football season, as well as basketball, hockey. I'm not sure when soccer starts or football.
It just started.
Ayo,
It
there
literally
you go.
just started 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Beginning of August. Yep.
And we've obviously got baseball, which will be winding down here in the next few months.
But isn't it always being played? It winds down and then somehow it's still baseball season. Crazy.
No, baseball season actually isn't all that long. It goes from what, April to October?
Maybe it's just because the games feel long that I feel like the season's long.
Think about hockey. Hockey starts at what, the end of September, and it goes through like June. They have off.
Soccer's the worst. Soccer starts in August and goes till August. So. Oh, it's true. So you're excited then? Is that what you're saying, T? You're excited?
No. I'm going to say the opposite. I'm not excited for sports anymore. I think it's a bunch of fucking bullshit. Well, we always hear about how it's a business, right? Sports is a business. This is a business. Yeah. And, you know, Barry Sanders made a business decision. Well,
NCAA players can get paid because it's a business.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been saying it for years. And it's all coming to fruition. But this whole sports gambling thing has really left a sour taste in my mouth, especially since they're all partners with one another.
Mm.
You know, we all know that the beer industry obviously makes a little bit more money on Sundays, right? But they're going to succeed regardless of what sport is being played. Because
the
people
antacid companies make a lot on Sundays too.
Right. People just like consuming beer and all these other unhealthy things. But but there's an uptick on Sundays.
Totally.
But gambling, on the other hand, this whole business model is completely predicated on the outcomes of certain situations involving these sporting events. And now that they're all partners with one another, and the idea is to make more money, and we already have seen cases such as Calvin Ridley.
What are you about to lay down here to you? An
Tim
accusation?
Donaghy.
Are you laying down an accusation?
The conspiracy here is that sports are rigged. Professional sports are rigged. Yeah. Wow. So that's where I'm at on it. And the whole Deshaun Watson situation with the Browns.
Oh, yeah.
Really just
Let
fucking
me hear about it.
Set me off, too. That's, I mean, it's not related, but
I want to hear about it. Tell me about it. As a Browns fan,
well,
somehow make it relevant.
Former Browns fan.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Former Browns fan, not pleased with the whole situation. They're going to go ahead and sell their stuff. Like I was just telling somebody the other day, it was almost fun being lovable losers. Watching what's playing out right now is just sad. And it's just the fact that it's front and center for the whole league to see is just sad. Like, there were other Browns situations that were sad. I think that it was Dante Stallworth, I believe, when he played for the Browns. I think he fucking hit somebody with his car and killed them.
Jesus.
Right. So there's definitely been issues. Like, they've signed Kareem Hunt. Now, it's just, I'm over it, really.
Wow.
I'd prefer to be lovable losers than this, than to win like this.
So, a wise person once said, where there is business, there is corruption. That wise person was just me just now.
Yeah.
Totally just made that up. But, like, it seems to be true because, like, all these things that you're saying come back to your point about sports being a business. And so it's all business decisions, right? And those business decisions are driven by money and profit, right? And whoever's profit, just point being, these decisions are made by and driven by money. So it sounds to me like you are suggesting that sports are less about the athleticism of the athletes. Athleticism of the athletes, fun. That was fun. Even though there's athletes out there and we can appreciate them, but are we really getting the best of them because the decisions being made, whether that's business decisions about a team like you're talking about, and add on now that element of sports betting, is it all just rigged? Is it all predetermined? That's what you're suggesting, right?
Some of it has to be.
So I was thinking about this when you came at me because I am a sports fan. I love sports. I love sports.
I love playing
even that
sports.
Shit I just talked about baseball. I friggin' love sports. I love athleticism. I love frickin' sports. And then you come at me and you're trying to ruin it for me, T. And I'm like, but you know what? Wasn't it already ruined? This isn't new, right? Corruption in sports, it's not new.
No.
So I decided
that
I was going to look into that, right?
Right,
and be
right.
like, this ain't new. So I have some fast facts for you.
Okay.
but maybe just to add some context of like this match fixing thing first, right? Because like in its earliest form, I think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure to all of the professional athletes who listen to this show, or those of you who want to be or see yourselves as athletes, that should be all of us at some point. It is not to take away from the talent and the skill, because that's super important. In fact, we honor you, we appreciate you, but we kind of also just want to be clear that regardless of how great you are, the reality of the powers that be, because sports is a business and appears to have always been a business, yeah, it's not about you then as the athlete. And how sad is that? History's first documented incident of match fixing, okay, first documented incident of it was a wrestling tournament.
What? Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, wrestling. In Greece, more than 1,700 years ago. So not WWE, but literally 1,700 years ago, match fixing, right? Like that's some crazy business.
Did
that
someone
already
Tonya Harding somebody?
Someone Tonya Hardinged somebody, right? And so,
and for those of you that don't know, that's another instance of match fixing right there. Tonya Harding hired somebody to club. What the fuck was her name? Oh my God. Come on, help me out.
Oh, Nancy Kerrigan?
Yeah. Got her in the knees.
I think some of that was because Nancy was the cuter one, just FYI.
Well, regardless, if it was jealousy over her talent or her looks, she fucking had her knees clubbed.
Either way, I highly encourage everyone to go see the movie I, Tonya, because it is fantastic.
Is that the actual title?
Yeah, it's totally called I, Tonya.
Like
yeah,
iRobot?
It's an amazing movie. Yeah. Only it's called I, Tonya.
Jesus.
I hope that's what it's called. Could our interns fact check that for me? Stand by. Yes, the interns just fact checked. It is I, Tonya from 2017.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Fantastic movie. Margot Robbie plays Tonya Harding. I think Tonya Harding is actually in the movie herself. Craziest thing.
Margot Robbie's. Oh, all right. You've piqued my interest.
I know, indeed, right?
Boner alert. Do we have a fucking?
Yeah,
do we have a fucking noise for that? And
she's the badass. Do I have the boner sound over here?
Is there a boner alert?
No, I think I just have the one that tells you to quit being a dickhead. I have to work on a boner sound over here.
Just any sort of alarm would be great. There we go.
That's a good boner alarm for Margot Robbie right there.
Yeah.
Anyways, so back to this match fixing thing. So here's my question for you, T. This is my quiz question for you. So recently, and this was super recent, there was a worldwide study done. And the worldwide study was an analysis of sports betting. So this comes back to when you brought up sports betting and how sports betting has only exacerbated this. So we can go back to 1,700 years ago in Greece when match fixing was happening. We can keep talking about, and I'll go into some of those other things that happened that were pretty controversial that people might remember from history when it comes to rigging sports. But most recently, with the prevalence of sports betting just being everywhere, a comprehensive analysis of sports betting data had identified the top 5 most likely sports to be rigged. And the study was conducted in the wake of a record year, which would have been last year, that saw people make at least $180 million off of what is being considered suspicious bets based on this study. So when I say that to you, what do you think are the top 5 most rigged sports based on this study that was looking into suspicious bets? And so this would be like people were making a bunch of bets on something that all of a sudden there's a huge shocker in the game, right?
UFC.
No, but it should be. And we'll touch on that because I have a lot to say about that. Soccer is number 1. Soccer is number 1 by a long shot, by the way. 694 incidences of suspicious, like, situations that were bet on.
Mhm.
Soccer is by far number one. Crazy.
Regular American football.
No, which I also thought was really interesting. Do we think that has something to do with the sport? I do. I think it does. Because I think soccer is a very subjective sport in the way that it is refereed. There are obviously some rules that are cut and dry, but there's also some subjectivity to that sport. And so I think it is an easier sport to rig matches, 100%.
So basketball.
And if you think about it, it's a super prevalent sport too. So obviously soccer, because of how much soccer is being played throughout the world, it makes sense. You are right. Basketball is number 2.
Hockey.
Then hockey's number 5. Craziest thing, tennis is number 3. And number 4, which no one would get, but it's on here now, and this is kind of going towards the future of sports, right, and all of that, esports. So these kids playing video games, rigged. So soccer, basketball, tennis, esports, and hockey, top 5. Right?
Wow.
I'm saying. I know. So when you start looking at that, so basketball, like one of the most famous ones that happened in basketball for anybody who is getting as interested in this topic as we are right now and wanting to ruin sports for ourselves. Netflix, just get ready. We're about to. I feel like the real sports of podcasting, real sports on HBO always ruins sports for me. Thank you, Bryant Gumbel. He always brings out the worst stories about sports and makes you hate them.
Oh, I know.
I know, what the hell?
I mean,
right?
but come on. But he brought us Gumble to Gumble.
I know, but I just want to like sports. So if the name Tim Donaghy doesn't ring a bell, it's because you are young. Otherwise,
It should,
you may
because
remember.
I said it earlier in this episode.
You did. But I wanted people to think about it. And like, do you remember him? Do you remember him? No, you don't? Well, so Tim Donaghy is the disgraced NBA referee. He officiated like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games, like almost 1,000. I don't know. It was like 700-800 games. Anyways, this sucker got caught finally fixing games. So he was betting on games and making lots and lots of money off of games he was officiating. The whole story about that is now on Netflix. I think it just dropped yesterday. They have this series called Untold, and they have all these different sports stories. This one in particular just dropped. I think it is called Operation Flagrant Foul. So anybody who wants to know the whole story, definitely go watch that. They do a fantastic job on this series. But at the end of the day, that was yet another one of those major fixing, scandals that went on for a really long time and disgraced, I mean, not just him, but the entire NBA when you think about it. What in the F? The same thing happened in baseball, if I recall correctly. Wasn't it with the White Sox? Something about the White Sox.
The Black
either
Sox.
shaving off points or something. It had to do with the mob. That's all I know is there was a tie to the White Sox and the mob.
Yeah, the Black Sox. Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yeah. Right? The Black Sox scandal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Game fixing. That was back in the 1919?
Pete Rose. Yeah, we got Pete Rose. Yeah, baseball.
I had a Pete Rose card when I was a kid.
Shouldn't have got rid of it.
I don't know if I did. I might have it still somewhere. Tough call.
We discussed
If I have
cards.
it to you, I'll give it to you to make up for the 50-cent piece that you're struggling to get over.
Oh, sweet Jesus. You better do some digging around for that
All right, I'm going to start digging ASAP.
That Pete Rose kind of, yeah. Wow.
But yeah, so okay. So now we get it. I think we've belabored this history long enough here.
Right.
I get it. We acknowledge that this isn't new, right? If you go to Wikipedia, for instance, super trusted source, everybody, by the way, and you look up just the list.
Anywhere.
The list
can write anything.
If you look up the list of match fixing incidences, though, I know, right? It's why I don't contribute to them. I just use their information when it's convenient to me. There's literally American football, Australian football, badminton, which I'm not supposed to call shuttlecock because that is what the birdie is called. It's not the name of the game, but I like calling it shuttlecock. Baseball, basketball, boxing, cricket, darts, esports, field hockey, golf, handball, motorsports, snooker, sumo, tennis, volleyball. And on and on and on. All of these sports have all had major match fixing incidences.
Two things.
What?
Football.
Yeah.
We got the Calvin Ridley situation. Then we got the situation with the Dolphins where the owner was just suspended for trying to fucking pay off the fucking coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was pretty recently. And secondly, darts. I am amazing at throwing darts.
Your form, I must say, T, your form at darts is so unique that it would be suggested that you're trying to throw the match and then somehow the dart hits the board and you're like, wildest thing. I thought the fix was in, and then all of a sudden the dart goes in the board. It's not supposed to go in the board based on how you're throwing it, because you do that combo of dart yoga move. But
I'm throwing it like a fucking baseball pitcher.
You are, overhand too.
Yep.
An overhand baseball. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh God,
but
no good.
Even darts is not immune to match fixing.
Wow.
Apparently, there was an incident in 2017 in the World Darts Championship, and another one happened in 2020. Come on, people. We can't even have darts.
Fuck?
We can't even have darts, everybody. Come on.
God, this is terrible.
Oh, it is terrible. So, okay, we get it. And it's about money, right? Is it about anything else? It's just about money, yeah?
Yep.
Nothing else.
Yeah, this is bad.
Yeah, I feel like you're right.
It's just like basketball predicting.
It's baseball and basketball, and those guys can predict a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they're geniuses. We know this.
Comes back to them. Absolute geniuses. Nostradamuses, I think. So, okay. I have a question, though.
Yeah.
So here we are talking about match fixing, and match fixing 100% not cool. I mean, it's disingenuous, it's lying, it's cheating, it's just 100% not okay.
But they make money.
Oh my God. Hold on. Did American Ninja Warrior have match fixing too? Sorry. Wikipedia's got me all wrapped around this axle. Anyways. So, yes, all about the money. Got it. Okay. So I get it. Match fixing, not okay. Let me ask you a question, though, about, speaking of baseball, Billy Beane, the Oakland A's, and Moneyball.
What?
So, you said that so definitively, too. So, Moneyball, and the whole concept of Moneyball, was not cheating. It was not match fixing. It was not rigging a game or rigging the sport in a way that was disingenuous per se to create an outcome that wasn't truthful to the players playing the game and honoring the athletes. Instead, it was a strategy for acquiring players using data to build a team essentially that was outsmarting richer ball clubs that could just buy all the greatest and best players. If you were a team that couldn't afford to do that, it was proven to be a game-winning strategy based on, again, statistics and analytics. How do you feel about that?
There's some teams that go off analytics, and it doesn't always result in a championship, right?
True.
The A's didn't win, right?
True.
I mean, they won a lot of games, but they didn't win. They didn't win at all.
So we don't have an issue with using analytics and data in order to make those decisions for how we acquire players in a team and building a team and then how they perform out there. That is acceptable.
Well, right. Isn't that why we're measuring hands at the combine?
Yeah, what I love about Moneyball is the whole intention of it is actually to stick it to all the money, right? The idea is those teams that have tighter budgets and don't have the money to, if we're talking about things being all about money, because it's still a business, right?
Or you look at the Pirates who were they playing? I think they were playing the Reds, and their announcer called the Pirates, I believe, a hodgepodge of nothingness.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's worse than lovable losers for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can appreciate the concept of the strategy. I think some folks maybe were critical of it. But, again, what are you going to do when you're facing a tight budget and you're up against, major teams like, the New York Yankees who have all this money? But, I will say this, that it really, to me, mimics when we're talking about sports as a business and sports betting, for instance, and I think maybe Safe had brought this up in the past, was it really mimics, say, the stock exchange and the stock market and how pure and simple money. I mean, that is money and nothing but money. We're not even trying to cover it up as if it isn't. That is all just about money. It's the financial sector, right? And so in the stock market, you are allowed to use data analytics and a strategy to buy stocks, trade stocks, put your money in certain places, make more money. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And like you just said about the Oakland A's, sometimes data and analytics win you money and sometimes it loses you money. Sometimes it wins you games, sometimes it loses you games. And so in the stock market, that's allowed. But what's not allowed when it comes to stock trading is very similar to match fixing, right? Which is, pulling a Martha Stewart. Right? You're not allowed to pull a Martha Stewart. For anybody that doesn't know what Martha Stewart did, that's that concept of insider trading, right? And you can go to jail when people, again, whether it's fixing a match in the stock market or utilizing information and then making decisions based on that you're not allowed to do.
Aren't there a bunch of Congress peeps that were just found to have done this, but they're still, serving and all that?
Oh, probably, right? No different than what happens in sports when we cover those things up too, right?
Fucking ridiculous. So what happens next now? This is only going to get worse.
Well, yeah, and I think we as the consumers of sports are so responsible, and it's hard because each one of us individually has a responsibility, but we also look at ourselves and go, I'm just one person. And so I know we had mentioned UFC, right? And I'm a huge MMA fan, huge UFC fan, and have a ton of respect for those fighters as athletes. And 100% they are athletes. They train hard, they work hard, they're beasts. They're fucking specimens. And the things they put their bodies through is insanity. Sometimes really hard to watch, but I can't look away either because I'm sadistic or something. Nonetheless, what I have watched with UFC in particular as an entire business enterprise, it is very much like a dictatorship. So you've got this guy who runs UFC, Dana White.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar.
And Dana makes and breaks people's careers through UFC, regardless of how good of a fighter you are. And his decision making is not based solely on the capacity of a fighter and the skill level of a fighter. While he certainly can acknowledge great talent, it's also all about the show. It's all about the money-making component of it, who he can make the most money off of for a pay-per-view fight, who do people want to see, and the storylines. And something that has become really prevalent in UFC are trilogies. And a trilogy is when you keep making the same people fight each other because it builds up the amount of betting that takes place then on those fights, the amount of pay-per-view that is purchased. And we love a great frickin' story. So when you see two guys fight each other or two girls fight each other and then somebody wins and then you see them fight each other again and then the other person wins and then you see them have to fight each other again for the tiebreaker, we frickin' love that. Even though there have been times where and you can call a fight and go, UFC loves a trilogy. There's no way this guy wins, even though he's stronger, he's better. He should win. You're like, did people just get paid off to not win just now because they still made money at the end of the day and we're getting a trilogy?
Right.
And it legit feels that way. And so that starts to bring us down that road of what is the future of sports? Are we going to ruin sports?
Everything
because of
is
our
the WWE.
greed? Yeah. right? So you take, there was a time in maybe our lifetimes, I can recall, where as much as wrestling was ridiculous, WWF, WWE,
WCW, NWO.
WCW, that all of those were as ridiculous as they were from a character standpoint.
Wasn't there a WWF at one point?
I feel like there was, yeah. You know, Vince McMahon and the whole McMahon family, like all of it was, there was as much theatrics as there was still an element to wrestling, even way back in the day, that was still athletic to some degree. And so you knew these guys still had to have some capacity. And over the course of
Jake the Snake really smacked that fucking snake. And mankind
a lot of them
really
took a chair over the head.
And mankind
so many
really
of them
went through
took
that
chairs.
fucking fence.
And in all honesty, yes, there was a lot of real stuff that was happening. But now, think of this now, 30 plus years later. And WWE specifically is seen solely as scripted entertainment. Therefore, there is no legitimate sports book where you are allowed to bet on WWE because it is now just scripted entertainment. Do you think that's where the future of sports is going? Like, are we going to ruin sports?
They'll never
ruin it with money?
They'll never admit that it's scripted, right? That's the illusion that they have to maintain forever. Or maybe the NFL admits the jig is up and schedules a Deshaun Watson revenge match versus the Texans.
And how do you, like, at some point, don't the athletes speak out? Like, this is like, as much as it's not a secret, arguably feels like the best kept secret because everyone would have to be in on it at some point.
The athletes.
And maybe it's just not prevalent enough yet because I don't think all of Major League Baseball or all of the NBA or all of soccer leagues or all of any of these are 100% fixed. Obviously, I don't believe that. Same with UFC. But I did just say this the other day. I can't wait for the UFC documentary tell-all when fighters or former fighters are finally willing to talk about what's happening behind closed doors. As much as I love the sport, UFC is so dominant. They're making so much money. And those guys get hit in the head so hard that their only future after is to still work for UFC doing something like commentating or judging. And so nobody will speak out against Dana White. And I'm not even a Dana White hater. I like Dana. I'm just saying there's got to be some shit going on behind the scenes that they are all sworn to secrecy and no one is willing to open their mouth yet.
Right.
There's going to be a documentary. Mark my words. I can't wait for it.
Can't wait for the day. Rome and Dana White are friends. And anytime you bring up Dana White, I can only think of him going in on Oscar De La Hoya. And he called him like 8 different names, but one of them was like Oscar De La Cokehead. He called him like... Yeah,
again, I'm a fan. I like Dana. I got the pleasure of meeting Dana. I have pictures with me and Dana.
Oh, all right. Cool.
I know, right? I'm saying. He's a
go.
big dude, by the way.
I was going to ask, is he short, tall?
No, he's big. He's super big. Like the pictures of me next to him and I'm in heels.
Yeah.
So back to that 4'10", 11-ish thing.
Yeah.
Look ridiculous.
That's funny.
It's super funny. But in the end, do I think that sports has a future? I think that athletes will have to rise above. Will they rise above all that money, though? Will they rise above all that money?
I think it's going to continue. Yeah. As long as they're getting paid, they don't go fuck, right? They're going to keep competing, whatever the fucking refs call.
I think it's going to take some like really irate badminton athletes to whistle blow because I don't think they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean,
but who knows if it'll make the front pages.
F's sake, Brittany Griner is still in freaking prison in Russia.
Yeah.
Come on. We do not pay our athletes across the board enough for this whole sports betting match fixing thing to be benefiting the Tim Donaghys of the world and any of us when Brittany Griner is still sitting in prison. She was only in Russia to make more money because WNBA doesn't pay.
I hear you.
So, like, there's such a discrepancy even in where all this money goes.
I hear you.
That's some shit.
I hear you.
Hashtag free Britney.
Hashtag free Britney. So if you care to provide any additional hashtags to us, again, you may do so on Twitter at I'm Dick Francisco or at CTS Terry. You may find Dick on Instagram at the Dick Francisco, and you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, or wherever by searching for the Catch the Sky podcast. Again, be sure to like, subscribe, or whatever, and you'll be notified whenever we release our new episodes, which is typically every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Dick, I appreciate you joining me again this week. It's good to have
Thank you for
back.
having me back. Thank you. It's good to be back.
Oh, absolutely. Look forward.
Now I'm going to leave for 3 more weeks to go train for UFC.
Awesome.
It's my new career change.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that should be enough time to do that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
For sure. I'll be able to hold down the ship until then. So we'll have to check in on your results. You'll have to let us know what class you're in sometime in September.
Yep.
And until next week, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all of our new listeners. And keep trying to catch the sky.